I was at the intersection in my car, and then there was a truck driver drive next to me and stop, wind out the window. I thought he was asking for direction
Directions,
or
yeah.
for help, so I went over and said, "Hey, sir, can I help you?" And then he just looked at me and yelled, like, "Go back to China," and then drove away. And then I stood there. I was like, "Whoa, this is bizarre."
First of all, wrong country.
Yeah, first of all, I'm not from
We're
China.
not all the same.
Why do this? I just, trying to understand
Mhm.
why people celebrate their hate more than celebrate their love.
Why, hello there, food lovers, and welcome to The Hungry Immigrant. I'm your host, Abang Brian, a chef, food researcher, reality TV star, and a guy who believes that every dish tells a story. This is where we uncover the stories behind the flavors, the people shaping our culinary world, and the dishes that bring us all together. From hidden street stalls to Michelin-starred kitchens, we dive into tastes, traditions, and untold stories of food across borders. So grab a seat, bring your appetite, and let's feast on culture, one bite at a time. What does it take to help spark one of Virginia's biggest Asian cultural festivals? All while running a craft beer and Asian street food hotspot? In honor of AAPI month, I'm diving into the heart of Virginia's Asian community with Jinson Chan, a Malaysian-born engineer turned entrepreneur who helped spark Asian Festival on Main, drawing over 25,000 people each year to Old Town in Fairfax for an epic celebration of Asian food, arts, and culture. We explore Jinson's journey from Malaysia all the way to Virginia in the United States of America. We investigate how this festival, which began as a grassroots response to combating Asian hate, transformed into a powerful platform for Asian pride. So grab your appetite, maybe some chopsticks, or just your hands, and let's dig in.
I travel the world talking about food and our culture with different types of people. And of course, because it's AAPI month, I was trying to find a way to talk to Asian people in America. Actually, I stumbled upon this festival because I interviewed the owner of the restaurants Shiru and Sorimara. And she suggested this Asian festival on Main, which is AFM. And so I just Googled it, I emailed these people, and the person who replied me told me that, hey, I'm Malaysian too. And so I'm really surprised. I started connecting with Jinson. Jinson is with us today, and we'll be talking all about the Asian Festival on Main that's going to be happening soon. But first and foremost, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Which part of Malaysia are you from?
I was born in Penang, but I grew up in Kedah.
Wow, Orang Utara. The northern people, we say.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been here? Who is Jinson? How did Jinson arrive here?
Well, I came to the States in 2000 to pursue my master's degree in electrical engineering.
Right.
I was in Iowa States. After graduation, I got a job offer and I moved to Virginia. So I moved here and then, start a family and then basically settle down. So now Fairfax City is my hometown.
And you have not been back to Malaysia?
Well, I have. Just last year, I actually went back to visit my family. It was beautiful, and it was 110 degrees every day I was there, which is uncomfortable, but, I enjoy all the food and everything that Malaysia got to offer. So after many years working as an engineer, I decided to start my own business. And in 2018, I opened up High Side. This is Asian street food concept with craft beer.
Right.
What I wanted to do is really about craft beer, but in Virginia states, the regulation is that anything, if you want to sell alcohol, you have to sell food.
Oh, I didn't know.
So yeah, that's kind of concept come together. So I wanted to think about what I would do when I drink beer. I was like, well, I like to eat like Asian street food,
Right.
the snacks and ramen noodle or something that easy to pair with beer.
Right.
So that's became the concept. So I opened up this place in 2018, and then in 2020, obviously it's pandemic. So we have to pivot all the time, but we were able to survive that. And then 2021, my friend Wendy from Center Barbershop came to me and see if I can help her to organize an events because of all the Asian hates happening during that time. So I basically helped her to co-found the Asian Festival in Maine. with the support of City of Fairfax and also the Old Town Fairfax Business Association. So this year will be the 5th year that we organize it, and because I'm really tight with my schedule, so I co-chairing it. So I was kind of chairing it the first 3 year, and last year I was not able to do it because I opened a brewery last year, and so I'm trying to manage my time.
So it's not a fixed committee. Like you guys come together and whoever is able to, you guys will lead the organization. But also you give people from around the world contacts, because we do have listeners from Europe and also Asia. AAPI month, Asian Pacific Islander and Native Hawaiian also we put into that month. It's to celebrate the pride around our culture and the people that make up this community of minorities actually. To give that context is in America, what happened was there was a little bit of hate against the Asians because there was misconception that COVID was brought on by Asian people, and like in the streets, all Asian women and men were just being hit for no reason, and that was the spark of a lot of Stop Asian Hate kind of
The
campaigns,
movement,
right? The movement, right? A movement that has started from stopping Asian hate to now celebrating Asian pride.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because I think the festival started with already the first year it was like a surprise 8,000 people came out.
Yep.
And then now we are at
About 25,000 people.
Wow.
2021 is the first time we can really do any big events outside because of pandemic restrictions. Even that, we have to do a lot of like contact tracings, and we have to control the flow of people. So we basically blocked one street, and then from there, right, we thought we're going to have about 2,000 people who showed up for the whole day, but it turned out to be very popular. So we were looking at about 6,000 to 8,000 people that attended the events, and it became like very successful. And then the city of Fairfax was surprised, right? Pleasantly surprised. And so they're happy that we did it because this is a private businesses that organize events at this level. Have never seen it before, right? So, and then the subsequent year, 2022, we decided to expand it because they were so popular. And then again, it became very popular, and we counted probably like 16,000 people attended the second year, which is like 2 blocks we extended. And then the third year, 2023, we expanded to 4 blocks, and I think that time was the peak that we counted. We estimated about 25,000 people attended. From all this year, the Fairfax City has been very generous to support us and provide services, the police, EMT, and Park and Rec. We all came together and put this all together for Asian Festival of Maine that happening in May.
For someone who does not know what is Asian Festival of Maine, because when you say Asian Festival of Maine, is it like a food street fest? What are we talking about?
Well, so Asian Festival of Maine, main reason for that is because it's on the main street of Fairfax City. And we cover everything from food, live performances, demonstrations, and the craft vendor marketplace. So basically, our requirement is we want to celebrate all part of Asian culture or heritage. And we know that, if we bring out food, people will show up. Right. So that was the first concept. Basically, we want to do like a night market concept where we have a bunch of Asian food, different varieties, very diverse Asian culture. And then we also have live performance. We have lion dance, dragon dance. We have like Indian performances, drum from Korea, and Japanese sword fighting and Thai, fight and everything like that. When you come to Asian Festival in Maine, you expect a lot of food vendors, all Asian food culture. And then you also have a lot of vendors that selling craft like, handmade stuff.
It's like a total immersion into the Asian culture and the beauty of Asia, I guess.
Think about it. Like if you're in Malaysia, you go to Pasar Malam, right? You stumble upon a lot of food, and then a lot of different vendors are selling craft and T-shirt, whatever they make. And if you're in Taiwan, you go to their night market, and it's the same thing. Thailand, a lot of food, Thailand, all over the Asian countries. It's basically the concept is like a night market concept where you go out and then you bring your family, enjoy the day, and then you enjoy the performances. And again, this is a free event that we hosted, and we have to raise the money to run it.
So where does the money come from?
Every year we have a group, I mean, myself included, we go out and raise money from a company that willing to sponsor us. So basically, most of the money is came from the sponsors. And also the vendor has to pay a small vendor fee to be at on site. So all in all, is like we raise all the money ourselves and then run this ourselves. And, I'm not getting paid for anything.
Wow.
So I offer my time and then go out, raise money, and organize the events. And the city of Fairfax also chip in. So a big part of it is a collaboration between small businesses in Fairfax City, and then also the Fairfax City government, and then all these company that generous enough to sponsor these events because they want to support our cultural celebration, and also they want to be part of this community. With a diverse community in Fairfax City.
Being a Malaysian and growing up, you grew up in Malaysia, right?
Yeah, I did.
Right? Have you felt this before in Malaysia?
No.
Why do you think that is? We were just talking about it. I was talking. Some of my good friends actually are part of this community called the Asian Hustle Network, and they're trying to organize the Asian Heritage Week, where they are inspired by AAPI Month in America, and they're asking themselves, "Hey, why doesn't Australia have it? Why doesn't Canada have it? Right? Or why doesn't Asia have it?"
Right.
So my question is like, why is there no AAPI Month in Asia?
When you're in Asia, you're like surrounded by Asian, right?
Right.
You don't see the difference, or you don't feel that you're being discriminated against, or you don't really feel the strong hate against each other.
Yeah.
And in Malaysia, it's like a melting pot, right?
Yeah.
My neighbors are Malay, Indian, so we all hang out and eat the same kind of food. It's a diverse Asian, but also like a melting pot.
Correct.
Over here is a little bit different, right? It is the weirdest thing. I went to Iowa for school, and I honestly don't think that I encountered any kind of discrimination at the time until I moved to Virginia, which is kind of bizarre because you would think that more countryside.
And there are more Asians in Virginia, actually.
There are more Asian in Virginia,
so, yeah.
and yeah, absolutely. And I believe we have like maybe the third largest population of Korean here, in the States. But I encounter discrimination here more than I did in Iowa, and obviously we are different. We stood up, right, because we are not white. We are Asian, right? So I think that kind of make us, in a way, kind of put a spotlight on us, right? And then also very easily neglected that our culture, our heritage that actually pretty fun, and our food are very delicious. And I think that's worth celebrate here and share with our neighbors. Like, my neighbors, they all enjoy coming to Haisai and try different kind of Asian food because they never had it. Part of it is like, education. Big part of it is like sharing this beautiful culture with your community. But in Malaysia, it's like everybody already sharing it. We are all immersed in it, and you don't really see that. So I guess it's more stood up here
because we are the minorities of minority, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think also there is place for it in Asia, because I say it all the time, because I think sometimes when you don't think about it too much, you take it for granted.
True.
Right? I think culture can get lost even if it's present amongst us. Right? Yes, now because we are a minority here, that we want to preserve the culture because we're a minority, and it can disappear because there's so little of us, right? But even in a country that prides itself on a multicultural heritage, it will get lost if you stop talking about it. And you tend to stop talking about it because you assume that's always there. For example, I used to live in Paris, right? And I would always ask my friends, "Hey, how many times have you gone up the Eiffel Tower?" Because I have gone up millions of times, because anyone who comes to Paris and they know I'm a Malaysian, they're like, "Oh, can you bring me there?" So I've been up and down. But people who actually live in Paris, some of them have not even been up the tower. So you take it for granted because it's around you, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there's always space to celebrate Asian pride no matter where you are. The point of this show is not only to preserve our culture and our stories that surround our heritage, but also for people who listen to this. And sometimes as minorities, sometimes you feel alone. And if you hear someone talk about a certain food or a certain experience, you'd be like, "Hey, I'm not alone." What kind of discriminations have you had felt here?
Honestly, it's pretty rare that I have encountered that. And the first time I actually encountered discrimination that I thought was so bizarre,
Mm-hmm.
I was at the intersection in my car, and then
Okay.
there was a truck driver drive next to me and stop, wind out the window. I thought he was asking for direction
Directions,
or
yeah.
for help, so I went over and said, "Hey, sir, can I help you?" And then he just looked at me and yelled like, "Go back to China," and then drove away. And then I was like, I stood there, I was like, whoa, this is bizarre.
First of all, wrong country.
Yeah, first of all, I'm not from China.
We're not all the same.
But I never been to China, to be honest. I never
never-
I never been to China in my life, so I don't know where to go back to. And it puzzled me, right? It's like, why, what did I do? What did I do bother you? Like,
Yeah.
I just in my car and I'm waiting for the traffic light and even offered to help you.
Yeah.
And what did I do wrong? How did I offend you? Kind of stuck my head for a little bit. And I shared the story with a lot of my coworkers, my friends. They all were angrier than me because it's like, oh, this thing should not happen. And,
Yeah.
this is, BS and all that.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just pondering like, why these people hate,
Yeah.
why do this? I just, trying to understand
Mhm.
why people celebrate their hate more than celebrate their love. I don't have an answer to that.
Right. Because like that's my next question. Like, why? Where does this come from?
Again, like United States is interesting, right? Is basically a country of immigrant, if you think about it.
Correct.
And people, when they came here first, and they were like, oh, this is mine. Everyone else should, go away. I think there's some mentality like that.
I think every country has the same problem,
Yeah.
right? I think certain people feel that they're more deserving in certain ways, but I believe, and that's the reason why I call this podcast The Hungry Immigrant.
Mhm.
I believe in my heart that all of us are immigrants in one way or another,
Right.
right? Whether it is immigration in terms of geographical location,
Mhm.
immigration in terms of your culture,
Mhm.
if you marry someone from a different culture,
Right.
immigration from a different state of mind when you
Right.
get more educated. I think we're all immigrants in one way or another, and it's about celebrating the fact that we are immigrants.
Right.
Why are you hating on immigrants? Because
Right.
I can tell you one way or another, you are some sort of an immigrant,
Right.
right? So I think you're right. We should always focus on celebrating the
Right.
pride than the hate. And do you think that the festival will achieve this?
Honestly, I don't know. But what I believe in is if we shared it, we try it, and some people will get it, some people don't. But we are moving 1 inch further, right? We move forward
One step.
and one step. Basically, we are educating people who have no idea about us, and then decide to hate us.
Yeah.
And now we just open our arm and say, hey, don't hate us, come and share, try our food, look at our performances, look at the dance, look at the people. And I think what we can do is to try, than sitting there and not do anything.
Right.
So the Asian Festival of Maine is definitely an attempt to basically celebrate what we have, and then to share that same, things that we love to eat, like to enjoy with our neighbors, our friends, our community. So that is really a big part of it. So in Fairfax City, we have about 25,000 people live here, and there are about 20% of them are Asian. And out of the 25,000 people, right, and many people have never really know about Asian food or Asian culture, and not knowing that Asian has more than just one country. Right? They said, oh, I thought Asian mean Vietnamese, or Asian mean Korean, mean Chinese. No, it's like, no, more than that. They're like many country and many different part of cultural differences as well. So that's why when we are selecting the food vendors or vendors that will be at Asian Festival, we trying to diversify of different Asian culture food. And then on that day, we pretty much double the population of Fairfax City.
That's what I was going to say. If Fairfax City was 25,000 and you had at least 20,000 people here, I'm sure it's not all Fairfax citizens, right?
That's correct.
Residents of
we have many people from Maryland, DC, I still remember 2023 when I was the chair. I talked to people came all the way from North Carolina.
What? Wow.
Yeah, they were fascinated by our events and they heard a lot about it and they
Yeah.
drove all the way up here and many people from Maryland came down here as well. The performances that we put out are pretty diverse and this year we have 2 featured performers and then one actually from New York City, Toshi. Yeah, so he is like Japanese, Chinese, and then we have ESKM from Korea, from Seoul. So we also have a bunch of other performances from different parts of the country as well. So each of them have different follower, right? They will come to visit to see him or see the performances and hang out and eat some food and drink some boba tea and yeah.
What do you think is different between AFM and all the other festivals?
So number one is this is a grassroots movement, and it is organized by like person like me. I'm a business owner on next to Main Street, and like Wendy, she owns a standard barber shop, and many people who are on the board to run these events are business owner, and not all of them are Asian. And they are my friend, they are my neighbor, my business partner, right? And they were willing to sacrifice their time to help Asian to run these events, and they're not getting paid, right? All they do is like they want to give back to the society, give back to our community, and then this is different part of it because I don't take a dime running these events, and in fact, I spend probably like 80 hours a month just to run these events, right? And so this is like pretty much people who live here, who run a business here, and who actually, friend of mine or friend of some businesses decided that this is worth their time and to share with either their neighbor or their children, right? Because I have some Caucasian business owner that they jump in and they spend a lot of time helping me run these events. And a big part of it is like this is very different. It's because like I've seen some Asian festival that primarily run by Asian people, right? And they some of them for profit, right? And for us, we are running a non-for-profit. So the profit that we get after we pay all the bill, we donate to AA Lit in DC. Yeah, they basically provide education to underprivileged Asian in DC, Maryland, or even Virginia. I think last year we donated about $5,000 to them, and then we also donate to Choi Wan Lion Dance Troupe. That's one group that partnered with us since day one, and they've been trying to promote the lion dance culture everywhere in DMV actually.
So 2 things here. Number one is I'm going to talk about the most simple one is lion dance. If you don't know what lion dance is, you have to go Google it. It is a traditional dance that has different variations. Even the lions themselves is different shapes. Different parts of China, different parts of Asia has a certain version of it. And it is not only in celebration. Usually you have it for anything that is to usher in prosperity, to usher in a celebration. You always have this dance. But it's actually beyond just a dance. I will say that it is almost martial arts. And a lot of these troops, they train ever since they're little kids, right? And they're acrobats that will be on stilts. And like there are so many, just go Google it. There are so many YouTube videos on it. I think what we see sometimes is very like mild version of it, which I think that's the reason why we need to fund more of these associations here, because these associations, they are not for profit. Usually they are just a community of people coming together wanting to preserve the dance, the art of the dance, but they need some funding to actually have more trainers come in, build stilts, have better costumes, things like that, right? So that's number one. Number two, Jinson touched on the fact that it's very community driven, and I feel that here in Old Town. Like the first time I arrived here, when I first met Jinson, I remember this very clearly. I was like, okay, can I do this podcast with you? This is what I want to do. I was really touched that he responded. But then after that, I was like, okay, why don't you name some people and then I'll schedule with them the interviews and stuff like that. And he did a very Malaysian thing. It really warmed my heart. He was like, you come and see me first. I came here just to meet him. And then he started bringing me around, and literally we were on foot. It was good weather outside, and he was like, "Hey, hi!" It's like everyone around the town center. What I felt was truly like in Malaysia we'll say like if this was my own kampong, like my own village, everyone knows your name, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And that was, I think, that's the spirit I get. Having talked to a few people who organize AFM, that you guys are this family, basically this community that is here to do this together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, like, people on board running these events, business owner or neighbors or friends, and doesn't matter. They appreciate the effort of us celebrating this culture, and in return, their children can learn from it, their friend can learn from it, and then that's all they ask for. They never asking for a dime to be part of it. And again, like we are part of the Old Town Fairfax Business Association, where all the business owners all came together and trying to figure out how we can help each other out, and how we can do some events that help the businesses here. And when we have a Asian Festival in Maine here, businesses like within 2 blocks radius from here are going to benefit from that, because we bring 20 to 25,000 people here on a Sunday.
That's true.
And normally Sunday is going to be a slow day for any businesses around here. And then all of a sudden you have 20,000 people showed up. And somebody got to stop by the pizza stop 2 blocks down. Doesn't matter. And somebody gonna stop by the boutique to walk in there and take a look. So that's what we are trying to do as well, to help our business owner around here. That's why we all kind of in for these events, and I think it's a beautiful thing that once the community want to do something together, it always happens.
Okay, so we're going to talk more about the Asian Festival on Maine in just a few moments, but this is the interesting part of the show, which I call the Sambal Survey, where I travel the world with 3 different sambals, 1 made by me, 2 made by different people, and we see which one is the favorite. So let's do the Sambal Survey. Okay, so this is the Sambal Survey. And in front of Jinson, he has 3 different sambals. And I gave him some rice because people always complain when I don't give rice. So just taste and just choose your favorite one.
So there are 3 plates of sambal here. I'm just kind of inspecting the look. One of them is a little bit drier compared to the other 2, and as one of them is a little bit more chili oil, and the other one is a combination of chili oil and juice, I guess. So I'm gonna start with the dry one first. Okay, I'll start from left to right and then give it a go. Okay, this one seems to have a piece of ikan bilis in it.
Which is anchovies.
Okay, this one is nice. That's the heat of it, and then a little bit of sour chili saltiness on it. Not as sweet as I thought it would be. I'm gonna eat some rice to kind of clean my palate a little bit.
This is how you know this is a sambal connoisseur, I call it. Because first of all, he moved the oil. I was like, oh. Because usually people are like, it smells really good. But this guy is like shaking it around.
Well, this one has a lot. The second one I'm trying has a little more chili oil in it, and also have more onion in it. So this is, it looks like more like a classic Malaysian style with onion. But it does not have any anchovy, from what I can tell. So this one is definitely sweeter. It's very similar to like what you expect from like the nasi lemak style with the onion. But the mouthfeel of it is a little bit more dilute because it doesn't have the anchovy in it. This one has a lot more chili in it. Let's see. It seems like the third one is kind of balanced between the first and 2.
Like a mix of both.
Yeah, it has like a grounded anchovy in it, I think, not pieces. And then also have the sweet and spiciness between them, in between. Wow. They
So
are
one
pretty
favorite.
good.
I know. Everyone always says that. Like
Yeah.
they're all like for different purpose. You will like it for different occasions.
My least favorite is probably the drier one
Uh-huh.
because it's drier, and then it is not as in Malaysia the sambal tend to be sweeter. So
Yeah.
this one is kind of lacking of the sweetness on that, from what I can tell.
First of all, you are talking to someone who grew up in Malaysia, okay? He's very
Yeah.
critical. I think anyone will love any three of these sambals, everyone will love. But yeah, okay. So it's either the second one or the last one.
I mean, the second one is actually really nice. The only critic on that one is the lack of the anchovy that I can taste off and make the body a little bit more watery, I guess, or more dilute. The third one is a good blend of both. So
the first and second.
I do like the onion in the second one. So honestly, like between these two, both will do it for me. But if I choose
fair.
one, I'll probably choose the third one. Yeah.
All right, to find out whether a Malaysian boy from Penang chose my sambal or not, please tune in to the video. If you're watching it on Spotify, please stop your car if you're listening to it in a car. We will only reveal the results on the Spotify or the YouTube video. And also, I just want to remind everyone to continuously share our podcast with everyone and also hit that subscribe button because that really helps me keep this podcast going. As I always tell people, this podcast is self-funded. So, and my intention of this podcast is to make sure that our stories are preserved. Yes, I'm preserving our stories, but if people are not listening to it, then what's the point of me doing this podcast? So please, please, please share this podcast and also hit the subscribe button. Okay, so now we will continue on talking about the Asian Festival on Main. What is your biggest fear with Asian Festival on Main?
Well, so Asian Festival in Maine will be in May 18, right? It's gonna be on Sunday, from 12 to 6. So the biggest fear of that is always the weather, right?
Oh.
Because it's outdoor and it's something that we have no control over. So we spend 6 months planning for these events on one day. All bets are off if you are, raining. But we have been fortunate that my sun dance is always work. We've been getting a nice weather. So I'm hoping this year we are getting a nice weather as well. If there's a weather god out there,
Please.
appreciate the effort that we put in here to celebrate this festival with all neighbors.
First, if there's a weather god out there who's listening to this podcast.
We used to have a rain date set up, which means that it's a heavy rain or we're gonna move to the next one, but it gets so big it's impossible to move to the rain date.
Right.
So now we just kind of like stick to it and then just go for it.
But usually the weather forecast here is quite accurate, I feel, because it does not rain that often.
Well, May is tough. May in
really?
Virginia is
wow.
it's just there's a lot of curveball, and sometimes like today probably like 70 degree out there, and then next thing you know it's like drop to 40 degree, and it's quite unpredictable in Virginia. Let's knock on wood and hoping that May 18 Sunday from 12 to 6 will be perfect weather for you to bring your family, friends, and just come out here and hang out and drink some boba tea, eat some whatever you can find here. The one time we have like deep fried watermelon.
Wow.
This Philippines business owner.
Yeah.
He would travel from Philippines
Right.
to these events, and then he will put up the deep fried watermelon.
Deep fried watermelon.
This kind of weird texture, but it's actually quite nice.
Is it coated with a batter or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you
Yeah,
fry?
it's kind of hot outside, and then
And
inside it's
cold.
kind of like chill and juicy and sweet.
What are your top 5 most delicious thing you've had at the festival?
Well, unfortunately for me, as a chair, I didn't get to walk around on that day.
God.
I always kind of like in our command center, make sure like everybody is doing everything they need, and I also set up a booth there for high side to sell some beer or yoju. Yoju is like a yogurt soju cocktail drinks.
okay.
And then I always kind of run around doing all this thing, and unfortunately, I didn't.
Oh my God.
I didn't have any chance to run around to try the food, but I did try the deep fried watermelon because my daughter wanted to try it. We got one for her, and I got to took a bite of that. It's interesting
That was your
experience.
most memorable because one of your only memories of it.
Well, I did try I mean, I always get to like the Thai food section. They have this chicken skewer. They marinated them before they put on a grill. They dunk it into like a melted butter, and then put on a grill. And that you can smell it from like a miles away, right? And
imagine.
that is always like the have the longest line because the smell itself, like basically bring all the people there. And I always, whenever the food vendor saw me, he was like, "Oh man, come here, let me give you a skewer," because I was walking around all day long.
Okay, so food vendors, if you see Jinson walking around, give him food. He has no time to eat food. Just feed him food whenever he's walking around. But yeah, I'm really really excited because this is going to be my first time at AFM. What are the do's and don'ts when you come for the festival?
Yeah, so there are a lot of parking around here in Fairfax City, and then we also have like a bus pickup from the Fairfax High School, which is about a mile away. You can park your car there, and then there's a queue bus will pick you up and drop you off at the events, and then we'll pick you up and back to the parking lot. That one options. There are options too. We have about, I want to say, close to 1,000 parking spot around here within walking distance.
Right. But there's 25,000 people, and
Right.
this year 30,000,
Well,
50,000 people come.
They are not all here simultaneously.
time, okay, I got you.
Right. They're all staggering in the different time. But I would do recommend get some Uber or Lyft, get a shared ride. And I'll park a little bit further away, just walk. It's a nice weather normally. And then, just be patient. Sometimes it's very hard to predict, right, how long a line is for the food. And then I recommend you bring a few friends and divide and conquer, right? So you go to this food truck, you go to this food truck, I go to that food vendor. We get enough food, and then we went to like the dining area. We set up like a dining tent. You can sit down, and then you share the food you pick up, right? You could pick up some chicken satay from that side, and you can get some Korean barbecue from the other side, and then you can get some misubi from this side, and get some bubble tea for everybody. It is amazing experience. It's meant to be shared. A lot of Asian food meant to be shared, and then I think if you bring a few people, divide and conquer, and that's the best strategy.
I think that's a very good strategy. I will do that. Probably come with my partner and maybe my sister, and like I'll form a group. A contingent to come. But yeah. So before we close, I want to ask you some questions. This is a segment we call the Hungry Questions. It's quick fire questions. Don't think, just say what comes into your mind. Okay. So this is the Hungry Questions. All right. So when I say home, what's the first dish that comes to your mind?
Char kway teow.
Chopsticks, fork and spoon, or hands?
Chopstick.
One ingredient you cannot live without.
Ooh, garlic.
Fusion food, yay or nay?
Yeah, it's okay.
If you were a dish, what would that dish be?
Bak kut teh.
Okay, so bak kut teh is something very Malaysian. It's inspired by Chinese herbs and all, but I think it's something that they wanted to inscribe as one of the cultural traits of. There was a big, huge controversy. I'm not going to go into it, but bak kut teh is very Malaysian. It's a broth with pork or chicken. Sometimes you do chikuteh, bak kut teh is with pork, and it's herbs. It can be dark, it can be clear. Only Singapore and Malaysia has it, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, and then like for me, it has to have the fried bread, youtiao, and then okay, I'm gonna make that. Anyways, before we go, is there any representation in the festival that needs more of? Is there like a certain Asian culture that is not represented enough? The reason why I'm asking this is so that if someone who is listening to it and wants to represent their culture can reach out, number one. Number two is, how can people help whoever they are? Yeah.
The clear answer to that is we need more Malaysian to come up here and set up your store to sell nasi lemak or char kway teow, whatever you want. We do have a huge presence of the Southeast Asian, especially Thai, but there are only I don't think we actually have an actual Malaysian food vendors
Oh,
present
come
before.
on. We have Malaysian stalls here everywhere.
No, not at
But
the
at the
Asian
not at the
Festival. Yeah,
festival, okay.
and that is something that I will recommend anybody who own a restaurant that sells Malaysian food to come by, apply to be a vendor next time. If you can come by and bring your friend to join us, please do that. If you travel or out of town, cannot be here, just tell your friend. It costs you nothing to like our posts or share our posts on Instagram or Facebook, or just share the link to your friend or your coworker and tell them about the events. It costs you literally nothing. And then if you do have some extra money that you're willing to invest in these community events that you may or may not, showed up, but you think this is worth for you to invest in it, and so that we can continue to run it, and there are sponsorship opportunity. You can just donate however you want. Could be go to our website, asianfestivalmain.com. That's a place where you can click and look at the sponsorship opportunity. That is, if you have extra money and you want to invest in this, you get some exposure from us, and we will advertise it, and we put it on our website, shout out on the website and social media. If you have time and you're willing to volunteer, you can sign up to be a volunteer to come up here to help us out. Give a few hours of your time to be here, and after that you can hang out and continue to enjoy the Asian Festival.
All right. So to be a vendor, also they just have to go to the website.
Yeah. Well, currently we have closed the application.
Okay, but for
and
next year,
yeah, for next year you always go to the website, and usually we open up the application in January, so you can apply to be food vendors, and then also non-food vendor, and then also like if you want to perform, if you want to do some Malay dancing, you can always apply to be a performer as well.
Right,
So that's also another way for you to be a part of it, to contribute, to share your performances.
Okay, and really trying to make this as practical as possible. For example, me, if I would like to just do a Malaysian pop-up next year, right? Once I sign up to be a vendor, will, like, in terms of the permits, in terms of all these kind of things, is there like a guideline of what I should do? And
Yeah. So basically, we work closely with Fairfax City Fire Departments and also the Health Department. If you're selling food, we'll tell you exactly what you need to do. If you're bringing a propane gas, and there's the guideline for you. If you drive in with your food truck, we will get you to do inspection, get a health permit. And then if you're not selling food at all, you just want to have a booth to share whatever you want to share, or sell things that you want to sell. And basically you just apply, and then if you want to do business, you have to apply for your business license yourself. We have a team of people, amazing team of people who help us to organize this, manage the vendors, and we will also put you at the right location. If you have questions at all, just feel free to reach out to us. Go to the website. That's a way to contact us, and then just send us a message, and we'll help you.
right, okay. With that, I thank you very much, Jinson, for your time with us. I hope to help spread the word for you. But truly, meeting Asian people here and seeing how you guys are so proud and working so hard to maintain our culture and heritage truly makes me proud even more to be Asian. So thank you very much for that. Please continue on the good work. And for those who are listening, reach out if you want to be involved as a volunteer. If you just want to come over and join us, please like their Instagram and share our posts and things like that. But yeah, so thank you very much for everyone for listening in. My name is Abang Brian. This has been another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. As usual, I will always invite everyone to keep their plates adventurous and their hearts open.
Terima kasih and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. Just by tuning in, you're already helping us to keep our stories, our flavors, and our heritage alive. But the reality is, our culture is fast disappearing. And when we lose it, we lose a part of who we are. So if this episode resonated with you, I have just one small favor to ask. Hit that subscribe button and share this show. Talk about it with your friends, your family, or anyone who loves food, culture, and the stories that bring us together. Let's keep these traditions alive, not just in history, but in our kitchens, our conversations, and our hearts. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hungry Immigrant and my personal account at Abang Brian for behind-the-scenes moments and extra bites from each episode. I'm Abang Brian, reminding you to always keep your plates adventurous and your hearts open.